Imagine a technology that in just 6 years exploded its user base by a staggering 900%. I mean, utterly eclipsing the market penetration of the telephone in, like, a mere fraction of the time. What kind of seismic, earth-shattering shift would that unleash upon the global business world? And maybe more importantly, how would you, as a future business leader, prepare not just to survive, but to truly harness that immense disruptive power? Get ready to level up. This deep dive is your essential guide to understanding the tech that's reshaping every industry, every career, and, well, every opportunity. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into the profound and enduring impact of the internet on business. We're pulling back the curtain on critical research and, real-world lessons. It's much like the foundational material you'll encounter in your BCIS 1305 Business Computer Applications course. Our mission is crystal clear: to equip you with a shortcut to being not just informed, but truly well-informed about how businesses have adapted, innovated, and, sometimes stumbled in the face of digital transformation. We'll show you how these crucial lessons translate directly into the practical skills you need for a thriving career. We're going to unpack the dramatic evolution of e-business, dissect the key factors that spell success or failure for an online presence, and connect all of it to the core productivity tools that you'll master. Before we delve deeper into this fascinating landscape, if you're looking for those insider tips, those strategic insights that can truly position you for a bright future in your chosen career, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive. Your engagement really helps us bring more valuable content your way. And as always, don't forget to check the description for additional resources that will amplify your learning and give you that extra edge. It's almost impossible to imagine a world without the internet now. It's so woven into the fabric of our daily lives, our commerce, our communication. But maybe cast your mind back to the early 1990s. Online meant what? A screeching modem, perhaps a very basic web page, or maybe some esoteric discussion forums. What's truly remarkable, what makes this revolution so unlike almost anything else in human history, is how quickly that niche curiosity just exploded. It fundamentally rewrote the rules of business in less than a decade. Let's really drill down into that unprecedented rise. Think about this. In early 1993, only about 90,000 Americans had internet access. That's fewer people than you'd find in a good college football stadium. Fast forward just 6 short years to January 1999, and that figure had skyrocketed to 81 million adults. That's not just growth. That's a mind-boggling, almost incomprehensible 900% increase. To truly put its impact into perspective, consider the telephone. It took the telephone 38 years to achieve just 30% household penetration. The internet did that in 7 years. 7. That's an acceleration, a compression of progress that very few technologies in history can boast. It was like putting the entire business world into hyperdrive.
That truly insightful observation about the speed, it just scratches the surface of what makes the internet's early growth so unique. What's even more profound isn't just the sheer velocity of adoption, but the immediacy of its global reach. And that combined with a dramatic demographic shift, especially when you compare it to previous groundbreaking technologies. The telephone, for all its revolutionary impact, rolled out regionally, market by market, city by city for decades. Companies had a slow burn trial period, gradually adapting their operations as the network expanded.
Right, they had time to adjust.
Exactly. The internet, however, was global from virtually day one. While its initial users were concentrated in North America, by 1999, for the very first time, more than half of global internet users resided outside the U.S.
Wow, okay.
This meant businesses didn't get that comfortable regional trial period. They were immediately thrust into a worldwide arena, confronting diverse cultures, wildly varying legal systems, and a dizzying array of consumer expectations all at the same time. This was a foundational difference that few, if any, early businesses were truly equipped to handle. It radically redefined what the word market even meant.
A huge shift.
Huge. And adding to this complexity was the demographic evolution. The internet was initially perceived as a largely male domain, associated with academics and tech enthusiasts. Yet by 1999, that perception had been completely overturned. More than half of internet users in the U.S. were women.
Really? That quickly?
That quickly. This wasn't just a fun fact. It meant new market segments, new product demands, and new communication strategies had to be developed almost overnight. So this rapid global and diverse user base created a vast array of new market opportunities. But crucially, it presented unprecedented challenges for businesses worldwide that had previously operated within more localized or segmented markets. This rapid evolution means that foundational IT concepts like understanding global networking, the principles of data transmission, and managing cross-cultural engagement, which are absolutely central to your BCIS 1305 course, aren't just theoretical constructs.
They're essential skills.
They are the absolute bedrock of modern business operations. They influence everything from how a supply chain is managed across continents to how a brand engages with its customers in different languages and time zones. You don't just learn about these concepts, you learn how to navigate them because they are the inescapable reality of global commerce.
That immediate global and diverse user base certainly threw a curveball to traditional marketing and operations, didn't it? And to actually reach them, to facilitate transactions, and to manage a truly interconnected business, companies needed far more than just, like, a presence. They needed fundamental digital infrastructure. We're not talking about just shiny new websites here. We're talking about the deep foundational building blocks that actually allowed data to move, allowed systems to communicate, and allowed companies to function internally and externally in ways that were previously, well, unimaginable. What were the core technologies that had to evolve or maybe even emerge to support this kind of rapid digital transformation?
That brings to mind a crucial point. These aren't just buzzwords. They represent the hidden architecture that allows modern businesses to operate at the speed and scale we expect today. Our sources highlight several critical elements that really pave the way for modern e-business, transforming the very act of commerce. We're talking about electronic data interchange, better known as EDI, extensible markup language, or XML, and enterprise resource planning, ERP. Understanding these isn't just about memorizing acronyms, it's about appreciating the quiet revolution they brought about.
Okay, let's break this down. EDI first.
Right, let's start with EDI. Before EDI became widespread, imagine a typical business transaction between, say, a manufacturer and a supplier. A manufacturer would create a purchase order, maybe on paper or as a PDF, then fax or email it. The supplier would then manually re-enter that info into their own system to process it, generate an invoice, send it back.
Sounds slow, and lots of room for error.
Exactly. Slow, error-prone, labor-intensive. EDI changed all that. It's essentially the computer-to-computer transfer of standard business documents. Purchase orders, invoices, shipping notices, payment instructions, directly between two different company systems using a universally agreed-upon electronic format. Think of it as a highly structured, automated digital conversation between machines.
Gotcha. So it cut out the manual re-entry.
Precisely. This automation significantly reduced errors, dramatically sped up transaction times, and laid the groundwork for the highly efficient, just-in-time supply chain systems we often take for granted today. It moved businesses beyond sending a digital picture of a document to actually exchanging structured, machine-readable data. A big leap.
Okay, EDI makes sense. What about XML? How did that fit in?
Good question. Then there's XML. While the source notes its significance, let's really dig into why it's so important alongside EDI and ERP. Think of it this way. Before XML became widely adopted, if two different companies wanted to exchange product data digitally, they'd often have to build custom one-off connectors for each data type.
Why is that?
Because one company might describe a product's color as color and another as hue, or one might list price and another unit cost. The data existed, but without a shared way to describe what that data meant, it was frankly chaos. XML stepped in as a kind of lingua franca for data on the web. It allowed businesses to define their data with self-describing tags. For example, product names, superwidget product name, and price currency, USD 19.99 price.
So the tags explain the data itself.
Exactly. This meant different systems, even if they used different internal software, could agree on what the data meant, making interoperability exponentially easier and more standardized across the web.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about sending data, it was about sending understandable, context-rich data.
Yeah.
That was a huge leap forward for web-based integration.
Okay, EDI for transactions, XML for describing data. What about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning? That sounds big. It is big. And finally, ERP. This is an integrated software package designed to manage the entire spectrum of an organization's business processes. To understand its revolution, imagine a company where the sales department uses one software, the warehouse uses another completely different system, HR has its own separate database, and finance relies on a distinct set of spreadsheets.
Nothing talks to each other.
Exactly. Information has to be manually re-entered, leading to delays, errors, duplicate data entry, and a fragmented, often outdated view of the company's operations. These were classic stovepipe systems. Data flowed up and down in its own silo, but not horizontally across the business.
Right, I've heard that term. ERP systems were designed to smash those stovepipes. They tie all these disparate functions, finance, HR, manufacturing, sales, supply chain, customer service together, into one cohesive, centralized system, making sense of vast data sets in real time. This integration is absolutely critical when you're thinking about using database software for business because it provides that unified view of operations, enables real-time decision-making, and drastically improves efficiency and data accuracy. That's a key skill you'll develop in your BCIS 1305 course as you learn to create and manage data with database software, understanding how interconnected information truly makes a business run.
Makes sense.
So, understanding these foundational IT concepts, how hardware and software interact to facilitate complex business processes, and the strategic purpose behind them is your first essential step. Even if you're not coding them, knowing their purpose helps you use productivity tools effectively and confidently. It contributes significantly to your ability to describe the fundamentals of information technology concepts, including hardware and software, in a way that truly demonstrates their business impact.
That's a powerful illustration of how these underlying technologies created a truly unified digital backbone for businesses. And it brings us to a crucial distinction that often gets muddled: the difference between e-business and e-commerce. These terms are often thrown around interchangeably, right? But they have distinct meanings that are absolutely crucial for a business student to grasp. It's not just semantics. It's about understanding the entire scope of digital transformation versus just, well, one piece of the puzzle.
That's an excellent point to emphasize because the distinction clarifies the sheer breadth of the internet's impact. What's truly fascinating here is that while e-commerce focuses quite narrowly on the marketing, selling, and buying of products and services on the internet, think of your typical online store transaction, a digital storefront, or an auction site.
Like buying a book online.
Exactly. E-business, on the other hand, is a far broader, more strategic, and encompassing concept. Our source describes e-business as fundamentally improving overall business performance through enhanced connectivity. It involves deploying internet technologies not just for sales, but across the entire value chain of an organization. This means using the public internet, internal intranets for employees, and external extranets for partners and suppliers, with the explicit goal of achieving dramatic improvements in both the quality and quantity of operations.
Okay, so e-commerce is the shop window.
Right, you can think of e-commerce as that well-designed sales transaction window at the front of the store, the visible point where money changes hands for a product or service. E-business, though, is the entire interconnected operation behind the scenes. It's the factory floor, the intricate global supply chain management, the customer service operations, HR, finance, R&D, every single internal process, all digitally integrated, optimized, and connected.
So it's everything.
It's about leveraging technology to streamline operations, foster collaboration, improve decision-making, and create new efficiencies across every department. So e-commerce is a component of e-business, but e-business itself is about holistic digital business transformation. This broader definition directly relates to the essence of your BCIS 1305 course, which emphasizes integrating business software applications. It's about seeing the internet as a tool not just for generating sales, but for a profound and complete business overhaul.
So e-business isn't just a trend. It's a fundamental paradigm shift that touches every part of an organization. And it certainly didn't just appear fully formed overnight either, did it? It evolved through distinct phases, each pushing the boundaries of what was possible, constantly redefining how companies could operate and interact. It's a testament to continuous innovation, almost like a living organism adapting.
Precisely. The evolution of e-business wasn't a single event, but a dynamic, multi-phase journey, constantly building upon itself. Hartman, Safonis, and Kador, as highlighted in our source, outline these evolutionary phases, culminating in what they termed real-time organizations, or zero-latency organizations.
Zero latency. What does that really mean in practice?
Good question. These are businesses that possess the agility to plan, execute, and virtually aggregate buyers and sellers almost instantaneously. Zero latency really means processing data and making decisions during the actual transaction or product flow, supporting immediate completion. Think of modern stock trading, where milliseconds matter, or how logistics companies reroute shipments in real time based on traffic or weather. This capability for instantaneous response in real-time operations is now a cornerstone of competitive advantage. It moves beyond mere efficiency to true agility.
So reacting instantly.
Exactly. A critical phase they identified involves web technology enabling profound one-to-one relationships with customers. This meant moving beyond generic mass-market campaigns to deeply customized interactions, even fluid pricing, often facilitated through mechanisms like online auctions. This is where personalized service, a core idea in customer relationship management, truly comes alive. We see companies tailoring website presentations based on individual profiles, demographics, purchase history, even browsing behavior.
Like Amazon recommendations.
Precisely. It's about replicating the kind of personal, familiar customer relationship that existed in small-town commerce before mass markets, but now at a global scale and with digital precision. This personalization extends to every touchpoint. The final phase in their model refers to communities of interests, or coins. This emphasizes how the internet enables companies to closely link various partners in their value chain through a blend of content, community, and commerce. Think of online forums where customers and competitors share insights, or industry-specific extranets that connect suppliers, distributors, and retailers in a seamless information flow. It's about fostering deeper, more integrated relationships across the entire business ecosystem, moving from just transactions to actual relationships.
That makes sense.
And a superb real-world example from our sources vividly illustrates this one-to-one relationship at work. American Airlines redesigned website back in 1998. They deployed new personalization technology, allowing over 1 million frequent flyers to check accounts, redeem miles, manage travel online. But even more powerfully, 2 million people signed up for weekly email alerts about low last-minute fares to their specific favorite destinations.
Wow. Tailored deals.
Exactly. Highly individualized, responsive service that made customers feel seen and valued. This was a game changer for customer satisfaction and loyalty. However, and this is key, it also came with a significant practical challenge. They needed to recruit staff from virtually every other department to write customized copy for these personalized communications. It put immense pressure on their content management.
Right, scaling that personalization isn't easy.
Not at all. This perfectly highlights the practical complexity of scaling personalized services. It ties directly into your BCIS 1305 learning outcomes on using word processing for customized communications and mastering databases to manage vast customer profiles and track interactions effectively. It showed that technology could deliver personalization, but only if the organizational processes and systems were robust enough to support it.
That's a fascinating look at the evolution. And those early successes sound incredibly exciting. But it's clear the journey wasn't all smooth sailing, was it? So what does this all mean for businesses diving into this new digital ocean? It sounds like the internet offered huge opportunities, but also presented significant hurdles that many early adopters probably didn't foresee. Almost like hitting an iceberg after seeing the shining destination.
Your iceberg analogy is spot on. The advantages were undeniably compelling, promising transformative change that was hard to resist. Businesses could look forward to streamlined supply chains, significantly reduced operational costs.
Cutting out middlemen, automating things.
Exactly. Vastly improved customer service through self-service options and personalized interactions, access to entirely new geographical markets without physical storefronts, new sales channels bypassing brick-and-mortar limits, and an unprecedented increase in global reach. Even small businesses could become international players. Indeed, early projections suggested internet-based electronic business could generate trillions of dollars in sales annually. The real promise was millions of customers buying digitally, paying digitally, receiving digital products digitally, instantaneously all over the world 247. That was the dream.
Sounds amazing on paper.
It did. However, the journey was far from smooth, and many businesses quickly discovered the hidden challenges beneath the surface. Early pitfalls included the rapid and often unpredictable changes in market characteristics and user habits. What customers wanted today might be entirely different tomorrow, making long-term planning incredibly difficult. The technology itself was new, leading to unexpected surprises during implementation and significant costs that often exceeded initial projections, often just the tip of the iceberg in terms of total investment.
Yeah, tech projects can spiral.
They can. And while technology costs were dropping rapidly, customer expectations were simultaneously increasing even faster, creating constant pressure to innovate and deliver more for less. Price competition, especially for digital products, could be incredibly fierce, driving down margins. John Brennan of Anderson Consulting, as cited in our sources, identified several common pitfalls or false starts that plagued early e-commerce initiatives. These are crucial lessons that resonate even today.
Okay, what were some of those pitfalls?
Well, first, early overambition. Many companies tried to do too much too soon, launching complex platforms without adequate testing or phased implementation. Building digital cathedrals before knowing if anyone would show up led to unsustainable projects, massive losses.
Go big or go home, but maybe too big.
Perhaps. Second, lack of integration with strategy. Often, the web presence operated as a separate silo, disconnected from the core business strategy. It was an add-on, not integral, so it couldn't leverage existing strengths or truly transform operations. Third, failure to adapt infrastructure and mission. Businesses focus just on putting something online rather than fundamentally adapting internal processes, IT infrastructure, even their corporate mission to truly embrace the digital world. Like buying a race car but still trying to drive it on a dirt track.
Makes sense. Need the whole system to support it.
Fourth, focusing only on the internet at the expense of existing channels. Some companies aggressively pivoted online, neglecting or even alienating established distributors, retailers, or their sales force. This risked big investments for low returns and often undermined decades of relationships and revenue.
Alienating your partners, yeah, that's risky.
Very. Fifth, unfamiliarity with evolving customer needs. Rapidly changing online customer behavior made it incredibly hard to predict demand or design truly user-centric experiences. Early websites were often designed from an internal view, not the customer's journey. Sixth, public confidence issues related to privacy. Early internet users were wary of online transactions, concerned about security and data use. Lack of transparency or a single data breach could destroy trust, which was incredibly hard to regain.
Privacy is still a huge issue today.
Absolutely. And finally, seventh, lack of sustained executive commitment and inadequate resourcing. Digital transformation needs champions and long-term investment. Projects often faltered when executive interest waned or resources were pulled, showing it wasn't a true strategic priority. These are absolutely crucial lessons for anyone planning a digital strategy today. They highlight the need for careful foresight, strategic integration, and immense adaptability. This directly impacts how you approach project management and problem solving in a business environment. Tools like what-if analysis and goal-seeking in spreadsheet software become invaluable.
Right, like in BCIS 1305.
Exactly. You might use what-if analysis to model different scenarios for website traffic or conversion rates, evaluating potential revenues against marketing spend. Or use goal-seeking to determine what sales target your online store needs to hit to break even on a new digital campaign. These are core capabilities you're developing, helping you make informed adjustments and robust recommendations, mitigating risks before significant investment is made.
That's a compelling rundown of the opportunities and the often painful learning curves. It drives home the point that just showing up online was never enough, and it certainly isn't now. Successful internet presence requires careful, well-thought-out strategic planning, much like any other major business initiative. It's about having a clear roadmap, not just driving blind.
Exactly. Merely having a website without a solid strategy is like building a beautiful house without a foundation. It might look good, but it won't stand up. Raish, as cited in our source, emphasizes that companies absolutely need to develop and execute a coherent plan of action. This isn't one size fits all. Web strategies must be appropriate to the company's size and scope, adapted to its competitive situation, and realistically aligned with available resources. This includes focusing on rapid time to market for early advantage while also planning for future initiatives and continuous evolution.
So, strategy first.
Always. Aaron Kumov of KPMG stressed that success ultimately comes from a business perspective, not a technical perspective. The real trick, according to Kumov, is bridging that gap between tech capabilities and the strategic direction the business genuinely wants to take. Technology enables, but it's a means to a business end.
The business goal drives the tech choice.
Precisely. Consider the compelling case of Organization A, an internet banking pure play, solely online, no physical branches. They exemplified this strategic approach. They made a critical early decision. They outsourced their entire technology development and operation to IBM.
Wow, outsourced everything tech.
Everything. It was a strategic choice, allowing them to focus internally, laser-like, on their core banking business vision, being an end-to-end sales tool. Their goal wasn't just an info site, but a fully functional digital bank. Their marketing manager meticulously defined requirements, prioritizing core functions to ensure a first-mover advantage by a specific launch date. By leveraging IBM's technical expertise, they could accelerate market entry and concentrate on customer acquisition and service. Clear strategic alignment.
Smart move.
Very. And this underscores the profound importance of strategic thinking, how you'll use spreadsheet software for sophisticated statistical and financial functions to conduct competitive analysis, evaluate outsourcing cost benefits, or use presentation software to convey a clear, persuasive business vision. Vital skills integral to your BCIS 1305 learning.
Once that robust strategy is firmly in place, then design truly takes center stage. But as you've highlighted, it's not just about aesthetics or making a pretty website. It's profoundly about meeting explicit business goals and deeply understanding user needs. It's functional art, right? Where every element serves a purpose.
Precisely. Without clear goals, you're designing in a vacuum, creating something visually appealing, perhaps, but ultimately ineffective. The targeted audience should implicitly dictate the content and layout, just like a good presentation is tailored to its audience. For example, if selling services online, you need a deep understanding of the effect on existing channels. Will it complement or compete with sales teams? If selling physical goods, seamless integration with inventory systems is absolutely critical.
Gotta know if it's in stock.
Yep. Exactly. As Bell highlighted, prices or stock levels must be immediately reflected online. If an item's out of stock, it needs to be removed, marked unavailable, or shown as special order with a delivery date. This isn't just good service, it prevents frustration and protects the brand. This directly highlights the need for robust database management and seamless integration, which you'll experience firsthand in your BCIS 1305 course as you learn to create databases and manage data, ensuring real-time accuracy. It's also interesting that much early web design folklore, like the 3 clicks away rule, often lacked substantiated research-based evidence.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that one.
Right. While intuitive, simply following such a rule blindly can lead to poor design if it doesn't align with actual user behavior or business objectives. This emphasizes the critical need for research-based communication effectiveness and critical thinking when designing, not just relying on popular, unproven guidelines. You need to use web-based technologies to conduct ethical business research to truly understand audience needs, gather data on user experience, and validate your design choices.
Data-driven design, basically.
Basically. We can see this in a couple of illuminating case studies. Organization H, a small needlecraft business, used Amazon.com as a benchmark, but Amazon sold books efficiently. Organization H faced a specific challenge: how to effectively sell small, cut portions of fabric or yarn online. Unit pricing, inventory tracking, more complex than a single book.
Yeah, different problem entirely.
Right. Amazon's model didn't deal with this directly, requiring Organization H to engage in real-world problem-solving, customize a solution, adapting a successful model to their specific needs. Shows creative thinking and flexible application of design principles. Another example is Organization D. They approached web content with clear ideas using existing graphics and info. Crucially, they focused on defining clear boundaries and providing specific resources to their web designers. This allowed designers to quote accurately for phases, avoiding scope creep, managing expectations.
Good project management.
Very. Their primary aim was a public face, an informational site providing essential company details with explicit plans to expand later. This ties directly to creating business multimedia presentations. Imagine using presentation software to mock up website themes, colors, user flows, articulating the different views a user might experience. This iterative planning, from strategy to design, is fundamental. Even a simple info site requires careful, goal-oriented planning, a core part of developing business solutions.
That's a great example of translating goals into design specs and avoiding pitfalls.
Yeah.
But even the best laid plans, brilliant strategies, user-centric designs, they can falter without strong leadership to champion them, can't they? This is where management commitment and dedicated project champions become absolutely critical for any digital initiative. They're the engine driving the vision forward.
It's an undeniable truth in technology adoption. Roberts, a foundational researcher, emphasized that managing innovation fundamentally requires astute organization and direction of both human and capital resources. It's multifaceted, creating new knowledge, generating ideas, developing prototypes, successfully transferring them into manufacturing, distribution, and ultimately to end users.
It's a whole process.
A whole complex process. Ciampa further found that for radically new tech, managers don't just implement. They need to orchestrate a constellation of actions, carefully considering political ramifications, managing momentum, and striving for economies of scale. It's a complex dance of strategy, politics, and execution. And in this dance, a project champion or advocate is vital. This person is an active participant, a passionate leader, often cutting across departments. They're essential for gaining organizational buy-in, lobbying for acceptance when resources are tight or resistance is high, securing necessary resources.
So there's a fight for it?
Exactly. Their enthusiasm, belief, and persistent drive can truly make or break an initiative, especially facing inertia or the "that's how we've always done it" mentality. They translate vision into action and rally the troops. Consider Organization C. Their initial web presence was largely driven by the CEO's desire to get a basic presence online, almost a checkmark, a good start maybe, but lacking deep strategic imperative. However, a subsequent change in CEO dramatically accelerated the project. The new CEO simply stated, with unwavering conviction, "I just want it up."
Clear mandate.
Unequivocal commitment from the top. It drastically affected momentum, cleared roadblocks, galvanized teams, showing how influential strong executive sponsorship can be in cutting through bureaucracy and driving rapid deployment. Another powerful example, a law firm where one partner served as the project champion. They didn't just endorse it, they actively drove the initiative, tirelessly liaising between external designers, internal staff, and management. They provided the crucial vision for market growth, saw the web not just as a brochure, but a strategic tool for client acquisition and service. Their strong motivation was key to achieving first-mover advantage in their industry.
So the champion makes a huge difference.
Huge. This demonstrates that your soft skills, communication, leadership, negotiation, understanding organizational dynamics are every bit as crucial as your technical skills in BCIS 1305. Being able to champion a project, navigate politics, articulate a vision, fundamental aspects of professional growth in any business role.
That's incredibly insightful. It shows how the human element is truly at the heart of successful tech implementation. And speaking of the human element, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The internet fundamentally reshaped how businesses interact with customers, pushing towards unprecedented levels of personalization and responsiveness. It really allowed companies to get closer than ever before, almost replicating old-school relationships, but on a global scale.
Absolutely. It was a profound shift. E-commerce applications are inherently customizable, designed from the ground up to accommodate specific customer needs, interests, and special accounts or conditions. This enables personalized service on a mass scale previously unimaginable. Personalization involves dynamically tailoring a website's presentation to individuals or groups based on profiles, demographics, prior transactions, even real-time browsing behavior.
Like those product suggestions you always get.
Exactly. Think Amazon's Just For You or streaming service recommendations. The internet offered a unique, powerful opportunity to replicate that personal customer relationship of small-town commerce, but at scale and with digital efficiency. Beyond personalization, self-service channels exploded. These offer low variable transaction costs, allowing customers direct access to real-time data about products, availability, pricing info only employees typically had before.
Empowering the customer.
Huge benefit. They can track orders, find FAQs, manage accounts without calling customer service, improves efficiency for the business and satisfaction for the customer. For instance, Dick Smith Electronics saw benefits from staff accessing e-procurement info in-store to answer customer inquiries. Not the customer online, but integrated internal systems letting associates check stock across locations or order directly. Shows how integration improves customer experience with immediate, accurate info.
Right, connecting the front and back end.
Precisely. Similarly, personalizing communications via email, like American Airlines fare alerts based on preferred routes, or direct interactive website features, significantly deepened engagement. This is exactly where creating business documents with word processing for customized communications. Think mail merge for personalized emails. And using databases to manage customer profiles and track interactions become practical, powerful applications. Perfect alignment with your BCIS 1305 skills in managing CRM data.
But there's a catch, right?
A massive caveat. Bank Boston Core provided a stark illustration of what happens when systems aren't integrated. In September 1999, their email response time was a respectable 3 hours. Yet, in a subsequent test, it ballooned to an agonizing 1 month.
1 month, wow.
Yeah. This massive deterioration was blamed on a perfect storm of immature technologies, stovepipe systems, and separate staff. What did that mean? Emails weren't routed correctly. Customer info was fragmented across unconnected databases. Staff in one department couldn't see interactions from another. The customer was left in limbo, reputation suffered. It's a critical reminder. Technology alone isn't the solution. Robust, well-planned integration of all systems and processes is paramount to delivering on the promise of enhanced customer service and personalization. Without it, the experience degrades fast, turning an advantage into a liability.
That Bank Boston example is a powerful cautionary tale about integration. And it's not just external customer engagement. The internet also became an incredibly powerful tool for internal communication and collaboration, fostering a more connected, hopefully more productive workforce, like building a digital nervous system for the company.
That's a perfect analogy, a digital nervous system. Indeed, an intranet, essentially an internet-like network within an organization, quickly became indispensable. Think corporate encyclopedia, central bulletin board, collaborative workspace, all accessible to employees using standard web browsers. The beauty was leveraging the existing, relatively inexpensive internet infrastructure most companies were already building, often cheaper and more efficient than proprietary tech for internal communication, especially for dispersed employees or remote workers.
So using web tech internally.
Right. The benefits are numerous. Dramatically reduced setup running costs for info distribution, ease of filing, updating crucial info, considerable time saved locating documents or policies. Beyond efficiency, better collaboration across departments, and a powerful way to build company unity, especially in large organizations. Intranets frequently host corporate policies, procedures, document sharing, directories, HR forms, training programs, even access to customer databases. Really supports virtual collaboration, connecting individuals at the right time to facilitate interaction, ensuring everyone, everywhere, works with the same up-to-date info.
Seems essential now.
It really is. We saw companies like US West initially let departmental intranets evolve organically, but soon recognized the need to manage corporate data for security and consistency. Charles Schwab, with nearly 100 intranet sites, moved towards a structured content management system, seeing clear benefits of standardization for sharing, consistency, easier management. This directly relates to demonstrating proper file management techniques in local, network, and online environments, a key BCIS 1305 learning outcome. Also highlights the critical importance of integrating business software applications for seamless info flow and efficient operations, making sure that digital Nuva system is well organized and functions smoothly.
That's a clear picture of internal benefits. But as businesses rushed online, sharing more data internally and externally, the twin pillars of security and privacy became absolutely paramount, didn't they? Not just customer trust, but legal compliance, reputation, protecting sensitive assets from growing threats.
This brings to mind one of the most persistent and evolving challenges of the digital age. How do companies protect sensitive information? Our sources highlight several key security schemes quickly adopted for electronic payments and secure transactions.
Like encryption.
First and foremost, encryption, transforming data into indecipherable code, unreadable without a decryption key, like a secret language. Two main types. One, secret key, symmetric encryption. Uses a single shared key for encrypting and decrypting. Like a shared lockbox, both parties have identical keys. The challenge is securely sharing that key. Two, public key, asymmetric encryption. Uses a pair of mathematically related keys, a public key, freely distributed, and a private key, kept secret. To send me a secure message, you encrypt it using my public key. Only my unique private key can decrypt it.
That solves the key sharing problem.
Exactly. Incredibly powerful. It forms the backbone of secure communication online, secure websites, HTTPS, encrypted emails. Beyond encryption, digital signatures and message digests are critical. A digital signature acts like a tamper-proof seal and verifiable stamp, ensuring sender authenticity and message integrity that it hasn't been altered. Message digests are like unique digital fingerprints of a message. If even one character changes, the digest changes. Signaling, tampering.
Okay, checks and balances.
Right. Finally, certificates and certifying authorities provide a trusted layer for verifying identities online. A certifying authority acts as a trusted third party, issuing digital certificates binding a public key to a verified identity, like a passport authority. Builds confidence you're communicating with the right entity. Beyond technical security, there's the critical issue of privacy. Customer info systems allowed companies to capture vast data buying habits, browsing history, demographics, immense opportunities for personalized relationships, but simultaneously huge privacy concerns.
The double-edged sword.
Exactly. Public confidence issues, consumer rights were and remain very much at stake. People want personalization convenience, but fear data misuse, from unsolicited marketing to identity theft. Governments rapidly had to play catch-up. New Zealand's Law Commission, for instance, addressed legal barriers to e-commerce, defining electronic signatures, ensuring validity of electronic contracts, recommended an Electronic Commerce Transactions Act to handle legal standing of electronic messages for writing, signatures, originals, etc., highlights the evolving legal landscape needed to protect the digital economy, especially globally.
The law had to adapt, too.
Constantly. A great case study on security emphasis. Organization A, the Internet Bank. They designed their vault with incredibly secure encryption. Crucially, their architecture ensured that even if a code were hypothetically broken, only malicious things, annoying actions like spamming could be done, not fund transfers. Absolute priority. Security of financial assets. This demonstrates that describing the fundamentals of IT concepts, particularly security and privacy, isn't just technical, it's a core business responsibility, impacting customer loyalty, legal standing, business viability, a crucial aspect of BCIS 1305 learning. Understanding risks and protections is fundamental.
In those early days, everyone seemed obsessed with hits on their website, like a popularity contest, right? Just a simple tally. But here's where it gets really interesting. Real success metrics go far deeper than just simple traffic counts. Measuring success online became much more nuanced, moving from vanity metrics to truly actionable insights.
That's a perfect way to put it. Counting mere hits is superficial, almost meaningless. It tells you nothing about how long visitors stay, which pages they find useful, their true purpose, if needs were met, or their engagement level. Like judging a library by door count, not book checkouts.
Right, it doesn't tell you the real story.
Not at all. Mukherjee advocated for closed-loop measurement, using a sophisticated combination of data sources. One, implicit data, how users interact, click paths, time on page, bounce rates, exit pages, scroll depth. Tools like heat maps visualize this now. Two, explicit data, info directly from user surveys, feedback forms, purchase history, tells you what customers say they want and what they actually buy.
Asking them directly.
And three, legacy data, integrating existing customer records from traditional systems, CRM databases, past sales, offline interactions. This rich, multifaceted dataset feeds into rigorous business analysis for critical areas like market and customer segmentation, conversion rates, percentage completing desired actions, cross-channel analysis, how online, offline interact, customer lifetime value CLV analysis, customer satisfaction analysis, and crucially, return on investment ROI analysis, linking digital initiatives to financial outcomes.
Connecting the dots financially.
Exactly. Insights then lead to targeted, data-driven actions. Personalized marketing offers, relevant ads, strategic upsells, cross-sells, intelligent product recommendations, turning raw data into actionable intelligence driving growth and efficiency. Consider Organization H, the needlecraft business. Despite impressive unique visits for a niche market, they admitted they hadn't quantified orders from phone, fax, email, or shop visits separately from website orders, made it extremely hard to assess the website's true impact on overall revenue.
They didn't know what the visits really meant for the bottom line.
Precisely. Underscores the critical need for integrated data analysis and clear strategic metrics, not just vanity metrics. This directly relates to data analytics using spreadsheet software for statistical financial analysis, employing features like sorting, filtering, pivot tables to gain meaningful insights from website data. Essential tools for evaluating online presence effectiveness and making data-driven decisions, directly supporting your BCIS 1305 learning outcomes in interpreting business data.
That's a profound observation about shifting from counting clicks to genuinely understanding customer behavior and business impact. It also highlights that the internet demands more than just new tech and better analytics. It fundamentally requires a shift in organizational culture and a readiness for continuous change. It's about creating a living, breathing digital organism, not just a static website you set and forget.
That's a truly profound observation. Boddy and Boonstra articulated that success with the internet requires continual, often disruptive, changes in organizational culture, structures, personnel. It's a delicate, often uncomfortable balancing act, embracing turbulence versus maintaining stability, caution versus bold challenges, respecting tradition versus adopting new paradigms. An organization constantly reinventing itself cultivates a more fluid, agile culture than a conservative one.
Adaptability is key.
Crucial. For this transformation to succeed, companies must actively communicate the why behind changes, demonstrate openness, acknowledge concerns, integrate individuals into the new e-business environment rather than imposing it. Frequent open communication is vital to reinforce new behaviors during transition. The entire workforce needs to understand the vision, what's changed, what may change, and what has not changed. Transparency builds trust, reduces resistance.
Everyone needs to be on board.
Absolutely. A compelling case study. Organization I, an innovative business of the year. They embraced continuous improvement culturally. What happened illustrates radical agility. Initially set up for 15 agents, their website success meant suddenly facing 100,000 direct customers.
Oh, that's huge growth.
Massive, rapid organizational changes required. Impacted hiring, training, logistics, supply chain, customer service, re-engineering internal processes, not just a tech upgrade, a fundamental reinvention of their operating model driven by digital success. In contrast, the law firm aiming for teleworking, They acknowledged little client work resulted from the website initially. They had the tech, but the deeper cultural shift, full staff integration into flexible processes, was still early stage. Mindset, workflows, trust needed to evolve before tech delivered full potential.
Technology isn't enough on its own.
Never. This demonstrates your role in business isn't just mastering technical tools, it's also being an agent of change. Adapting, communicating vision, inspiring others to embrace new ways of working and continuous learning. These soft skills, intertwined with tech adoption, are essential for professional growth and leading in the digital age.
We've taken quite a deep dive into the Internet's profound, enduring impact on business. We've explored its explosive growth, driven by foundational tech like EDI and ERP, which quite literally built the digital highways for commerce. We then navigated the intricate dance of e-business strategy, understanding that crucial difference between e-business and e-commerce, and delving into the power of customer personalization and the efficiency of internal communication via intranets. We've seen how absolutely crucial it is to plan meticulously, to champion innovation from the top down, to integrate systems seamlessly, and, well, to measure true success far beyond simple hits on a website. We've also acknowledged the significant cultural shifts and continuous adaptation required for organizations to really thrive in this ever-changing landscape. The Internet didn't just change business, it dramatically accelerated the pace of change itself, forcing companies to constantly reevaluate, innovate, and transform. The lessons from these early digital pioneers, the triumphs, the unexpected challenges, even the false starts, are more relevant than ever for navigating today's tech-driven landscape.
Especially as you prepare for your BCIS 1305 course and your future career. Understanding this history gives you a powerful lens. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening deep dive. If this discussion sparked new ideas, broadened your perspective, or simply made you think differently about the digital world, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive with others looking to level up their understanding of business technology. Your support truly helps us keep these conversations going. And don't forget to access the additional resources linked in the description for even more insights and learning opportunities.
This journey into the past and present of e-business highlights one undeniable truth. Technology is not a static tool you simply apply and forget. Instead, it is a dynamic, constantly evolving force that continuously reshapes how we connect, how we operate, and how we innovate. So as you look to your own career and the invaluable skills you're developing in your business computer applications course, what fundamental aspect of business are you personally most excited to see transformed next by emerging technologies? What problem are you eager to solve, or what new opportunity do you envision creating with the power of technology?
The future of business isn't just about what you know, it's about how you apply technology to make it happen. Thanks for listening.